Marvel Studios has finally ended its big screen storyline with the release of Avengers Endgame. Financially, the final installment was able to break international weekend opening box office with a whopping $1.2 billion. That number doubles its previous record holder, Avengers Infinity War, which grossed $640 million.
Here in Indonesia, the excitement is as big as the Hulk. It's too massive not to see it. Marvel-themed events are everywhere, and several cinemas even screen its premiere at 5 in the morning. I mean, who would go to the movies at 5 a.m.?
You did.
Okay,
you did.
Maybe hardcore Marvel fans would do.
Okay.
With comic book movies making huge blockbusters, we think it would be noteworthy to take a glimpse into how such movies have developed,
what their current landscapes are, and where they're headed. It's no fun talking about the history of how superheroes-based comic books are adapted into movies if we don't drag Marvel's main rival, DC Comics, into the equation. Both of them have been major players in America's comic book industry since the 1930s, and up till now, they have a combined market share of 80% in the United States. But here, we will just focus only on their big screen products. DC was actually the first to adapt its work into the big screen, partnering with Warner Brothers to produce Superman in 1978, starring Christopher Reeve. Later, Marvel followed the move by releasing Howard the Duck in 1986, which sadly didn't quite receive a positive outcome in the box office as they toned down the protagonist's satirical attitude to a lifeless animatronic puppet. But quite bad news for Marvel, since the company was sold to Walt Disney in 2009. But as a wise man once said, everything happens for a reason. The decision to become allies with the giant entertainment company would financially boost the projection of an intricate concept of shared universe to a wider audience. You know, since Disney has all the money to rent cool tech to make that happen. Eventually, each studio established their own franchise, Marvel Cinematic Universe and DC Expanded Universe, in order to arrange the complicated plot of the shared universe into one orderly sequence. And if both studios decide to produce a movie without using the concept of shared universe, these franchises won't get their hands into the movie production. So this time, Marvel overtook DC. With the release of Iron Man in 2008, Marvel was the first to expose its shared universe concept on the big screen. And 5 years later, DC displayed its own concept of shared universe by releasing Man of Steel in 2013.
Since then, Marvel Studios have produced an astounding 22 movies which have grossed an average of $886 million worldwide. And that number excludes whatever Avengers Endgame will make. So, how can DC top that with its late start? Well, the DCEU has turned out 7 movies so far that averagely grossed $820 million, excluding its newest release, Shazam, that's still screening. Aside from that money-making, what are the other differences? A study done by an automated research tech provider, Zapistore, measured facial expressions on a moment-by-moment basis in real time. It claims that Marvel could engage the audience emotionally better than DC. Participants who saw DC movie trailers only showed reactions when some scenes generated by CGI and special effects appear. Meanwhile, Marvel movie trailers hit home run on all aspects, mainly when the characters show up on screen. This somehow proves that viewers are so emotionally invested towards their Marvel superheroes. Now, if we compare the concepts of two shared universes both studios have immersed, Marvel might still be ahead of DC for now. By overtaking DC with the release of Iron Man, Marvel had made it easier to properly describe the intricate, intertwining plots to the audience, while DC had to play catch-up, which is prone to rushing things. For the first 5 films, MCU snatched a 391 out of 500 ratings, while DCEU only snagged 241 out of 500. That numbers show quite a difference on how audiences like the movies from both studios. Since Marvel has produced more movies than DC, it seems like Marvel is leading the race for now. But hold on, let's have a peek into their financial department. Even with the late start, the first 5 DCEU movies actually worked out pretty well. They grossed an average of $1.6 billion, while the first 5 MCU movies only grossed about $1.3 billion. That means DC technically outperforms Marvel by almost $300 million. So DC is still in front of the race.
So after all this, what's next? It's not a secret anymore that comic book and superhero movies have been the talk of the box office for the past 10 years. But there's also one problem. Some people have been talking about the emergence of a superhero fatigue, referring to the too many superheroes on the big screen, which makes the average moviegoers exhausted to keep up with. The highest grossing non-superhero movie released in 2018 was Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom with $1.3 billion, and that placed third for the remaining year. However, it's still an arguable thing as we can see how successful Avengers Endgame is at the box office. While it is true that some people might get tired of superhero movies, the genre itself keeps evolving. It's not just about the good guys fighting the bad guys anymore. The plots grow more complicated, unveiling how great the world is by inserting current issues and events outside the big screen into its plots.
From cape guys in spandex who fought burglars,
To armored heroes who fought alien overlords,
superheroes have come such a long way.
the story and the characters have kept on evolving, and it doesn't look like it would stop at any time soon.
With Marvel dropping 6 superhero movie releases by 2021, what steps do you think DC will take to reach better spots in the hearts of moviegoers?
Or do you think the superhero fatigue is real? Leave your comments below.